Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Alright, today we went out shopping during this lockdown environment. Now, the lockdown environment here in Victoria does make things a little tricky. We're not allowed to go more than 5 kilometres or 3 miles from home. The only time you can go outside that is for essential services. Picking up feed for the chickens is essential because if I don't get the food, they're going to starve. Food, if there's not something closer, you can go outside the 5 kilometres. So luckily I could go get my chicken food. I've got my co-pilot with me today. Now I was gonna film down at the feed store, but they don't want anyone filming during this lockdown time, which is perfectly understandable. Yeah, look, nothing against them for that. So let's have a look at, see what we got. To start with, Bob got a treat at the feed store. Didn't you, buddy? You got pigs here? Yeah. The back of the car there, we have 10 bags of just a budget potting mix, which adds to the collection. Now, I could buy a yard of soil or something like that. It'd probably come in a little bit cheaper. The problem with buying it that way is there's no real room to store it in my front yard, so it's by the bag is pretty much the only way to do it for me. Okay, in the back of the ute here, and yes, this is a ute. In America you might call it a truck, but it's a ute in Australia. So we've got a couple bags of pellets for the chickens, a couple bags of a small grain mix that they've mixed up at the feed store. This is a pigeon mix, ideally, but it's absolutely perfect for just a scratch feed. You know, I'm not looking to completely feed them with a scratch feed, so I don't need a chicken balanced meal. And buying it this way, it's 18 bucks as opposed to the scratch I normally buy, which is 22 bucks. So fair saving. You know, and that's the reason you go to a feed store, is they will give you those tips. We've got a couple bags of food for Bob because he's a big boy, he goes through a bit of food. And we have some of our organic fertilizers that I've picked up at the hardware store. So we've got some seaweed mineral mix, some dynamic lifter, a complete organic food that's especially for veggies. And buried in here somewhere, I've also got some blood and bone. Over here on the front porch is another 10 bags of garden mix, plus a little bit left over. As I said, I am going big with the container gardens this year. So I've needed a fair bit of the soil. I've probably got about 500 litres, which breaks down into 125 gallons of potting mix. So a fair chunk, and chances are I'll probably need more. This is why I need the organic supplements the way I do, is because I just buy a basic mix. It's just a stock standard basic mix, which is just basically a medium. There's no nutrients or anything added to it. It's cheaper that way. It's a lot cheaper that way, and I'll add the nutrients as I see fit. So yeah, much easier way for me to do it, and it's a cheaper way. If I went and bought garden soil from the garden shop and got that delivered, I'd still have to add the nutrients to it anyway. They're not going to have a decent nutrient rich mix, and it's not going to have what I want in it. If it's going to have anything added to it, chances are it's going to be a chemical fertilizer, which I'm not after. So there we go. All right, thank you for following along for this little breakdown, and bye for now.